Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on Simcat's Valley. Weird name. But we have Blodir in blue playing as Armada, and his opponent is Randy in red. Randy starting a very abnormal position, but we have seen him start in this position before, I think it was. Can't remember who we saw on the channel, but it's basically someone started here and the opponent started here, and yeah, the pressure that they were able to push along this area was so much that the person that was on the high ground couldn't get out. Now I can't remember off the top of my head which game that was, but Randy looking to probably follow the same steps here. Now, if I remember correctly, that game, the person actually started here, walked to that metal extractor and built the base here. Andy going for a bit more defended position here with his factory quite a bit further back. Now, this is after Season 2 has released, so grunts are substantially, well, I say they're weaker. Technically, they're not in terms of raw stats. Not by much, but it's more of their maneuverability has been lost quite a bit. Now we see Andy struggling with energy in this very early stage, not even getting a single construction bot out yet, whereas Blodir, thinking that he's got all the time in the world, has gone for 2 construction bots and then 4 ticks. Blodir doing perfectly fine with energy with so many windmills right now. Total of 9. Now the question is, are any of those grunts going to be able to get substantial damage dealt before Blodir is able to build up a decent enough defensive force? Oh, bit of a stutter there. And now Blodir will be aware that there are grunts coming for him. And the problem is pawns are a lot better than they used to be. And we'll see if these 3 grunts are able to make it up the hill and actually get any damage inflicted. There are already 4 pawns lying in wait. You can just see how quickly those pawns just get completely destroyed. The whole thing is that grunts have to keep range outside of the pawns and slowly kill them off, but with the changes, range of 210, range of 180 is extremely difficult to do that micro. Now you have to be a tremendous player. Randy doing a great job at microing these, just keeping out of that range, maybe making a doing a great position actually, managing to get past. He may as also get a couple more metal extractors here as well. This just shows the level of micro skill that Randy has, making sure he's not getting contained there, not going in on those, keeping those grunts alive, trying to back them off, and doing a lot of damage there with those 2 grunts. Now it does look like these grunts have been caught though. How much damage are they going to be able to inflict? Getting radar, metal extractor. Pawn does try and close down, not quick enough. That grunt's done tremendous. 9 kills on a grunt. Finally getting collapsed upon. The hero grunt finally falls. Meanwhile, we can see in the top left on the mini map here, Blodir actually has got units over in this position, and he must realize, like, where the bloody heck is Randy's base? Blodir about to lose a construction bot as well. Tremendous amount of pressure being applied here by Randy. You don't often see this early on, like basically into what would be late game base area. And Randy's just pushed right into it, getting rid of 2 metal extractors and a construction bot. And there's no expansion available for Blodir, which is currently safe. So a quick look over here. There is a metal point down here that Randy can get fairly easily without much worry of that ever getting killed. It's a very actual solid defendable position. However, he is losing metal points now to these ticks that managed to get through. I say that, he's only managed to get 1, with some more getting lost there. But the big difference here is that it's just a constant harass. It's forced Blodir into an early Centurion here to try and deal with this. Meanwhile, we can just see that Randy is slowly pushing across with his commander, getting radars and LLTs placed down in order to defend, and just slowly but surely working to completely block Blodir off from it getting out. Randy again doing some great management of his units. Well, I say that as he leaves them in a line. He did. But concentrating all of his micro in this middle area. Getting it a bit too close to the Centurions though, and we can see how quickly those grunts get killed when close to that Centurion. Randy actually stopped to wait for all of those guys to pass then, which I find very interesting. Able to get a metal extractor though, Blodir, and a radar. But when we look at the difference here, look at the huge economy difference. Blodir left with just his starting metal extractors and slowly now starting to push out. Whereas Randy has just spread out a tremendous distance. Struggling with energy though at the moment may make things a bit difficult as these grunts try and make a move. She's quite happy to let those pawns pass. His plan here is to try and contain Blodir up on that high ground. It's going to be difficult for this construction bot here to make its way out as the points directly outside are defended. However, Centurions should make fairly quick work of these LLTs here. Meanwhile, Randy just chasing down the few grunts that did make it through. Also, don't forget that he has the ability to build exploiters as well if he needed them. Another very close radar, considering he's got one right there. Now, normally, you'd be a bit worried about Randy's position. His commander is extremely exposed, especially now with the Centurions cutting a hole in his expansion line. But realistically, Randy can fairly safely just fall back in the middle. It's not technically under his area of control, but it's also not really under Blodir's control. The Centurions making it a bit tough for Randy here. See how quickly they kill them. The range of 330. That's a lot more range than the grunts have at 220. And managing to keep the construction bot alive with 5 health. That is one lucky construction bot. And then this grunt over here is just going to come along and kill it. But, you know. Only a single LLT in this middle area. Surprised we're not seeing maybe 1 or 2 rocket bots here from Blodir. Or even from Randy. Just Randy completely double downing on grunts. And as we press shift space here, we can see just grunts and mostly pawns and Centurions out from Blodir. Now, Randy doesn't really have the advantage anymore. Now able to dip in and duck out in a prolonged fight, pawns do tend to have the advantage, but unit numbers, it does seem that Randy able to pull out victorious, although that Centurion is still alive and backing away, as a mislook from Randy meant that a lot more forces died than needed to. But 1k metal now sat right there. Resbots very close by. No resbots from Randy whatsoever. And look at how many construction bots are just sat here assisting. So many. Meanwhile, losing more and more construction bots on the flanks. Randy's area is a bit of a mess on this northern side of his base. But he has effectively contained any form of expansion here from Blodir. Put in Blodir in a corner, giving him only this area to really be able to control. And yeah, this is a very aggressive play. We've seen this now one other time, and it worked quite well. It does require someone to make a push and just go for it. Like, there's not that much here. If he sent, like, put a radar up and sent, like, a single rocket bot, he could whittle through this. And then he's, like, made a hole to freely expand. It's just, like, the single LLTs. It's not major. Now, Blodir's construction bot is slowly walking away, but there are now a couple of grunts that will probably chase him down. And you can just see the economy difference is humongous. See Blodir here going for the reclaim rather than the resurrect, with the intention of trying to just get as much metal back as he can. But Blodir currently stalling energy massively as the wind is now starting to make its way back up. But it does seem like most of that whole 1,000 metal is going to go to Blodir. Not quite enough Centurions yet, but it is enough to put a bit of a stop on Randy's harassment. And now more metal is available, almost another 1,000. Still not a single rocket bot out though, which is quite surprising. Losing the resbot though by some accident as they got in front of the Centurions pushing forward. And that's quite a big loss as he's got no resbots. He's got one really far back. The early containment was doing a tremendous job and has definitely limited Blodir. But when we look at metal produced, there is still a 2k difference in metal produced, but there's another 1,000 here, and he's probably already got 1,000 just from this push. And his commander is all the way up here, slowly just getting extra metal extractors. Meanwhile, this force gets closer and closer to the base. Now with Fugs out, they will be able to eat some of that damage, as well as do a bit more range damage against the Centurions, hoping that the grunts can come in and sweep up a victory afterwards. But surprisingly, we don't see Randy going up here, claiming this territory, or even trying to like reclaim like any of this. He's just being very slow and methodical, mostly using his commander. He does have a construction guy here. But again, you can see they're just naked mexes. Not really planning on keeping them very long, it seems. And that little two grunts, pawns rather, will die pretty quickly. Blodir's calm now on the front line. And you can see Blodir currently with over 1,000 metal stored. And now having to slowly fall back himself as we look at the lab choices here. Transition over to vehicles. Well, I say transition. An addition of vehicles for Blodir. And an addition of aircraft for Randy. And we can see the thugs getting overwhelmed here as the grunts and blitzes pile on, doing so much damage, and potentially a large amount of construction bots are about to get killed here as 3 of them get surrounded. Shurikens have come out onto the field, but they're not really doing too much as Randy is forced even further back. It's quite a lot of build power to lose. And we can actually see Metal a Second for a brief period there during the reclaim was actually on the side of Blodir. Blodir having not pushing too much. He does have his commander there, which can deal pretty decent damage against Shurikens. But he's just building up a bit of a death ball, Blodir. Eating the stuff that's behind. He's getting all of the reclaim. Metal produce difference now is very close. Still only about 2k. Well, actually, it's about 3k now, surprisingly. Army value, though, is very, very heavily Blodir's side, and he's not even resurrecting anything. Shurikens did try and come in and do something, but a very forward proxy lab has been built here by Blodir as a bot lab. I'm kind of half surprised that Randy didn't build like another lab up here to send like a different set of units to attack, because obviously Blodir is focusing everything this way. If Randy built like a second factory up the top and then started sending stuff down here, it's gonna like push Blodir's attention in 2 different areas and make it a lot harder for him. Both players have a huge amount of metal banked at the moment. It's not like they couldn't afford it. And Blodir also just trying to push and focus down the base. He's not really focusing on dealing with any of this expansion. Like, there's so much expansion there that Blodir is quite happy for Randy to have. Probably because he doesn't realize how much of it he has. Now we see interesting choice of units here. We've got the Whistlers here to deal AA damage against any Shurikens that are around, but also to pepper the thugs at long range. We have the Pawns for overall just pure damage. Centurions to deal with grunts, but also now we see a vehicle lab on the front and the bot lab being eaten and stouts being built as well. These air construction turrets are going to make it very quick to expand. They have little build power though, which may make things a little bit difficult. And finally, Blodir pushing out, dealing with this kind of small fortification that was containing him. But the delay was for this. Transition to Tech 2 has been completed by Randy at 17 minutes. His opponent yet to go Tech 2 himself. He's just stacking up more and more vehicles now. Surprisingly, we actually see Randy try and make a move there. I was expecting him to just kind of sit back and wait for a bit more of a mass. The single blitz not able to do much, but this stuff here is enough to finally make a dent in all of this economy that Randy's just been slowly building. And I'm not sure if Blodir has seen the Tech 2 yet. It doesn't look like it. He's still not going Tech 2 himself. Randy doing very well to kind of hide the Tech 2 until he absolutely wants his opponent to see. He will have seen it now there with the radar jammer bot. So Blodir now notified that his opponent has Tech 2. And as the Sheldons will start firing down long-range plasma shells at his opponent, the problem is Blodir can quite easily push here and around there, which is exactly what it seems like he's doing now. There are a few thugs there to stop it, but there's nowhere near enough forces. as the blue tide washes over the thugs, completely destroying them. Now the question is, where is Randy going to go with his forces? Is he going to move into a defensive posture or an offensive posture? And the answer to that is defensive. Yep, exactly. Is this a GG? That is a lot of forces. He doesn't have things in position. Sumo's running to try and save the day. Lots of twin LLTs. How much damage is getting inflicted though? Lots of winds destroyed. Most of the wind production destroyed. But the base still stands for now. And you can see most of the map is still red. And he may have lost control of this area, but still, most of this whole map is red. And Andy's commander is literally probably just gone area mechs, and that's it by the looks of it. I mean, what to say about this? Blodir doubling down on Tech 1, it looks like. Slowly clearing up some of the forces there. Actually using all of his forces just to clean the map of any expansion that Randy has. Meanwhile, Randy's just building up a Tech 2 army and now currently has a higher army value. Surprisingly, Randy not really doing much with said army just now. Actually getting a lot of damage being dealt on a Sheldon, which this Sheldon is actually unable to see because there's no radars. Randy's commander here looking like he's going to run into the water and hide, which, to be fair, probably a good idea. Yeah. Poor use of Sheldons here with no radar bots to provide vision. Suma's are now providing the vision. Sumas are quite happy to just sit there and eat all the damage. Seems like most of this has just been set on a fight command. You didn't actually lose any Tech 2 there at all. And do we see a Tech 2 at all from Blodir? Just about to start a Tech 2 vehicle. Meanwhile, pretty much everywhere on the map has now been devoid of any red metal extractors. The armed metal extractors causing some problems for Blodir, but not enough, really. Just requires a bit more than maybe a single tank to go deal with it. Finally, the Tech 2, though, may take a little while before it's able to do too much. But when we look, metal a second and energy a second, but pretty much the whole start of the game, it was completely red, but now it's very, very heavily blue. With all expansion of Randy being taken out. And although the LLT will get built, Blodir is just going to kill it very quickly. And more metal extractors getting killed, but these Tech 2 units are holding quite strong, losing 2 fiends there in that attack. Killing quite a lot more, though. But still, vision is a big problem for this Tech 2 army. Losing a Sheldon there and a Sumo this time round. Randy just doesn't really have the vision for a Sheldon ball to work effectively. And losing even more Sheldons. Now, he has taken the reclaim field. And with 7, well, a huge amount of reclaim to be had. We can just see how desperate Randy is right now to just try and get some eco up and running. He's even built advanced solars. You don't see that very often. But while Blodir is distracted, kind of clearing out the rest of the map, Randy has been building up slowly but surely. You can see he's also resurrecting everything, which will make it harder for Blodir to push back into this direction. But with bulls now starting to come out, we've got a total of 5, about to be 6 bulls. Can this weary Tech 2 force of Randy's make too much of an impact? As there goes one sumo already. All for half health on a bull. As we look, Randy's still struggling with vision problems here. No radars built into his forces at all, relying purely on vision from other units, and we're probably going to see some dead Sheldons here as they make their way up. Attempting to ground fire at the metal point, but that's not where the metal point is. These guys are going to get mopped up very quickly as these pawns completely surround the Sheldons. And they get taken out very, very quickly. But the most important thing is these bulls slowly creeping up, taking out sumo after sumo. And now with there being 7 of them plus Jaguars, mistaked click on the resbots as well, losing a vast quantity of resbots. And, I mean, Randy just doesn't really have what it takes to stop this. Desperately trying to resurrect. Air actually coming out from Blodir here just looks like it's more a defensive force. Surprisingly, metal a second and energy a second are actually advantageous to Randy at the moment, with none of this actually being eaten and just being resurrected, so it's not like he's getting res instead. So that's surprising. Mistake here, though, as 3 Twitchers get killed by this just kind of force setup here of 4 Centurions and a missile truck. Bit of a mistake. Now here's one thing. We see Randy here going for spy bots. Now, spy bots have been considerably changed with their EMP strength here, so I have no idea how effective this is going to be versus bulls. I guess we're about to find out, but the question is, will Randy's commander stay alive for us to find out? As we see a small group of forces making their way up there. Also, we've got bombers now coming out as well from Blodir, targeting the last few air kind of wind turbines of Randy. Surprisingly, Blodir really struggling with energy at the moment. It's now starting to get back up and running. He has quite a lot in the way of Tech 2 metal extractors now. He says there's a whole total of 5. He still hasn't even gotten the 3 on his starting kind of hill, or the one up there. And instead moving off with Tech 2 to the north instead. Randy now looks like he's trying to make way for his commander to come back. Slowly but surely at least. And now using the scouts, the cloaky bots, to provide vision for a change. which is probably what their initial intention was supposed to be, but, you know, EMP is strong. But a mammoth also coming out, but here comes the bombing run, going for the Tech 2 bot lab. All the build power piling in, hoping to keep it alive. And it does. Not enough bombers to pull it off. He does get a couple of wind turbines, but all in all, that's it. Most of the bombers are now dead. And well done, Randy. They're having enough build power kept on it just to keep it alive. Slight problem though, it does look like by this wreck outside, kind of trapping units in. And these guys are unable to move anywhere because of that. And there we go, finally able to leave. These three Mausers though with the radars now finally able to clear out this middle section. No Geo at all from Blodir. Could have gone for a Prude. And we actually see Blodir getting pushed back now as well, which is surprising. Spreading himself a little bit thin. EMP bots try. Ooh. Okay, so EMP bot can still EMP a bull, but not for very long. As the noose tightens around Randy's forces. And he's trying desperately to run away. The mammoth is now in range. And that makes very, very, very short work of these Jaguars. Sheldons, though, still with limited vision, not really able to fulfill their job role. Okay, there are some defenses being built up here to deal with these guys. But I'm surprised. Honestly, I thought that after the kind of initial mess up, and that push in, that it would be over for Randy, but somehow he's managed to pull it back. He was very far ahead in the early game, but now look, both players metal produced all game, 0% difference. Both players were basically the same amount. Energy produced is also almost the exact same amount. Excess metal is 126 Blodir. It's not really that much. Army value is also dead on neck and neck. The biggest difference here is just purely down to how much metal Blodir is getting a second. And it's ticking up bit by bit. Not only that, but there are starlights now out, which will cause problems for Randy. He needs to get those grunts in front to kind of hold on. Tech 2 pop-up defenses will help deal with this small force. Resbot's being picked off by the starlights as well. Oh, some very, very dangerous positioning of Tech 2 constructors here. As Randy focusing on everything but them. Now going, oh, yeah, I should probably get those out of there. They're probably going to die here, I think. Mammoth is not going to be able to escape, though. As it just takes more and more damage for free at this point. Tech 2 radar jammer, though, going up. I don't think that's really going to get built, and he does actually go to abandon it as well. What's your plan, Randy? What's your plan? Suicide scuttles, maybe? Ah, more EMP bots. And one EMP goes off. Second one gets destroyed. Third one goes off, disabling a forcel on the bottom. Fire, electric, laser beams going off everywhere. This will be the fight that makes the game. Whoever wins this will win the game. Sumos are managing to punch through the hull of the bulls. And as the starlights start getting destroyed, advantage Randy. He has lost his entire front line, with the exception of these 4. Make that 2 but Sumos. But with all of Blodir's forces now completely annihilated, he is back to desperately building as many defenses as he possibly can. Currently only 2 bulls. Make that 3 now. But this is a big chunk of Sheldons. And the res bots are coming. 16k metal sat here ready to be gobbled up. And this is going to be what changes the tide of the battle here. What's the range on this pit bull? Enough to cause problems. Meanwhile, along the north side, no expansion being done at all. No pressure being applied by either player. Complete focus is being put on this bottom side attack here. Surprisingly, we see Randy make a rotation into the middle, getting away from the pit bulls that have been built. A rattlesnake going up as well, and that is going to completely zone out all of the Sheldons. Surprisingly, we're not seeing it built on the high ground like up here. Oh, and the advanced geothermal was actually built in the end as well. The final bits of economy damage being dealt here by Randy. But these Sheldons are just going to get completely surrounded and killed. This would kind of be wise to self-destruct these, but it's all too late as every single one of them are completely dead in the seconds. And back he goes. Back to the exact same spot he was at a minute ago. But the thing is, he still kept the reclaim field. And also at the same time, we do see fiends here were used to break out of the containment along the top. Also onto the high ground. Finally, Randy will be able to take his ancestral home of this high ground. At least for a short while. Now, Rattlesnake has been built. Its opponent, the Persecutor, is being rushed to complete. But neither of them can hit each other. Oh, that one can. Because of the slight high ground advantage here, a range of 1,380 as opposed to the 1,390. Surprised Randy's splitting up so many forces here. They're not really able to accomplish too much other than to maybe draw some aggro away from the bottom. But at the same time, surely just gifting metal to his opponent. Let me know what you think of this plan here. Is this 5k metal here now? And it hasn't really accomplished anything. And Randy making a big mistake here. Is not enough energy for him to fire his sumos effectively. And he realizes that and starts falling back. He does do some decent economy, well, not economy, unit damage. But the Resbots already losing the Persecutor there. And as we have a quick look over here, We've got Tech 2 aircraft. Apparently a ridiculous amount of liches planned. Obviously that Tech 2, he's got 2 fusions, whereas his opponent has a single fusion, no geo to speak of, and Randy just pumping more and more economy into mammoths, apparently. He is trying to expand building the advanced metal extractors in places that he can, but he doesn't really have forces to defend, and these bulls are just going to come around and kind of take it out. I do feel like Blodir is probably going to win this one at this point. His Persecutor isn't able to fire back at all at the one that's actually shooting at it. And it might be better just to actually eat this, so you're not leaving the metal. He doesn't actually know where that is, I think. That's the problem. He's trying to keep it alive with his resbots. Go, resbots, go! Oh, the second one kills so many of the resbots. That will not be enough now to keep it alive. And there we go. He tries to eat it. Still 1,500 metal on that. And Randy gets all of it. The question is, are we about to see any form of Tech 3 from either player? Oh, as I say that, yes, Tech 3 planned from Blodir. Again, more forces just sent across this hill to die in the graveyard that is 7.2k metal. And at this point, I honestly do kind of feel like Randy's kind of running out of ideas. Randy also now trying to get Tech 3 up and running. He probably realizes that's what Blodir is doing. If your opponent has quite an advantage with map control like this, he's got you contained, which is exactly why these tanks are here, to contain him. You're doing this because you're buying time. And he is buying time very effectively. Not even this mammoth can get close. And here we go. Vanguard, first Tech 3 out on the field with its new extra 2 legs. What do you think about the new Vanguard model? Didn't think we'd be seeing it in a 1v1 so early into the season, but yeah. And what is his opponent Randy building? Kraganaths. Okay. Not what I was expecting. I was expecting him to go for Shivas due to the cost. However, I think Randy's plan is probably going to be this. He's got defenses up to here, right? His plan is going to be march the Kraganaths around here, go over the hill, and go like that. I think that is his plan. However, I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off. Mostly because there's already 3 Vanguards raining fire on that front line. 2, there's 3 Liches ready to go. And he's also just losing terrain everywhere that he's not really going to be able to hold on for much longer. These guys are just living on a prayer at the moment, I guess. Just trying to do as much damage. They've literally just been sent on a path to die. And the Liches are making their way out. going for the mammoths, surprisingly. Oh, interesting. The Kragenaths were built. Where were they headed, though? Apparently the middle of the map. Why the middle of the map? Oh. Not playing it out then. Not able to deal with the liches and the tech free. Randy calling the GG. And to be fair, it definitely was GG.
Battle ended.
When we look at the stats here, we can see that it was pretty close all the way. And then as soon as Blodir realized, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to be contained anymore, and took out Randy's expansion, Blodir was just able to skyrocket. And energy produced as well. He lost a lot of wind, Randy, and never really rebuilt it. And that's kind of where he didn't scale as well in energy. Also, he didn't have a geo. That's kind of a big deal. But, yeah. What do you think of the new Vanguard model? It's still firing in the background here. Let me know in the comments what you think. There's one that's a bit easy to see. There we go. Let me know what you think of it. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.